Hi everyone, welcome back to Java class. In today's session, you will learn how to work on MySQL Workbench in order to write different queries for creating database and data tables. In our previous video session, we have covered how to download and install MySQL database on Windows operating system. So if you are not ready with MySQL Workbench, so please watch the previous video session to install MySQL database on your operating system. So what we have done in our previous video session, we have created a database named jcodebook. So it doesn't have any data tables. In today's session, I will show you how to create the different tables inside a database, and I will also show you the different queries in order to perform or in order to do different operations on a data table. So this database we have created in our previous video session. So first let me just drop it and I will remove this schema from this schema tab. So I will drop this schema and I will show you how to create a database with the help of a query. So how to create a database? So simply you will use a query, create database, and you can write your database name jcodebook. So this is a query in order to create a database. So simply you will select your text, you select your query, and you can click on this icon in order to execute your query. This one nearby this save option, right? Select this one and you can see it is showing create database jcodebook, one row affected. It means your database has been created. You can go to the schema tab, refresh it, and here you can see the jcodebook database is created. But inside it, you can see we have tables, views, stored procedures, and the functions. It is blank database. We don't have anything inside it. Okay. So after creating a database, we have to enable this database for a further usage, right? So how will you enable this database for use? You will simply use a query, use your database name. So right now your database name is jcodebook and semicolon. The use database will help us to enable the database for the use. So here you can see we have multiple database. The jcodebook database we have created right now. So just select this text and execute this query, and you can see your database named jcodebook is highlighted. So now you can create multiple tables inside it. You can create the functions inside it. You can create the stored procedures inside it. You can do multiple things inside this database. So next is how to create a table inside it. So you can create multiple tables inside it. So in order to create a table inside this database, let us move to the concept part of our jcode book. So let us move to the concept part. Okay, so here you can see what is SQL. SQL is structured query language. It is kind of a query language programming that help us to manage and manipulating relational database. SQL allow user to perform various operations on the data stored in the database like querying, updating, inserting, and deleting. In general, we have multiple types of SQL queries, but here I am discussing only three different types like DDL, DML, or DQL. DDL stands for Data Definition Language. So here you can see what is DDL, Data Definition Language. It is a subset of SQL commands which is used to define and manage database structures in the schema, such as the table, indexes, and schemas, right? So this DDL contains the multiple commands like how to create a table, how to drop, rename, alter, and truncate a table, right? So let us learn one by one how to create a table. So to create a table, simply that these commands we have done already, right? So to create a table, you will simply use a query, create table, and this is the name of a table employee. These employee ID is the name of column. This is the data type of it, and this is a primary key. It means, what is the meaning of primary key? It means this column value will not have a duplicate key. It will have a unique key, right? So next column is the first name, next column is the last name, next is the birth date, its data type is date, and next is the salary, its data type is the decimal. What is the meaning of these data types? I have explained all the concept part here, right? You can see the different data types. So in order to create a table, let me just copy this text and let us move on the SQL Workbench. So I will just copy it and I will move to the SQL Workbench in order to create a table. Okay, so how to create a table? You will simply use this query. So create table employee. So you will select this query and you will execute it. You can see this query is created. You will refresh your schema, or inside this table you can see we have an employee table. This employee table have the different columns like employee ID, first name, last name, birth date, hire date, and a salary, right? So this table is created. In the similar way, you can create the multiple tables inside a jcodebook database. So let us move on the next query, that is the alter query. Alter query is used to do some modification inside the existing table. So let us move to the concept part and you will understand how to do the alter query, right? So here you can see what is the alter query here. So alter query, or this command, is used to modify an existing database object, like you can add, delete, or modify columns in a table. So how to add a column? So simply you will use a query alter table employee, means we are trying to change the table employee, or we are trying to add a new column. So you will use the add keyword here, and this email is the name of the column, and this varchar is the data, that is a data type, and its length is 255. So varchar is the variable character, right? Varchar is the variable characters, its length is the 255. So I will just copy this query and I will move to the SQL Workbench, and here I will help you to understand how to add a new column inside an existing table. So simply I will close it. So I will just select this query and execute it, and it is successfully executed. You will refresh your schema, and here you can see the new column email has been added. You can see on the left hand side email has been added. Next is how to drop a column. For example, this email column I have added. So how will you just drop it? So simply you will use the alter table command. So I will use this alter table command, and you will just paste it, alter table employee, or you will simply use a drop, right? Drop column, and you will write the name of a column. So what is the name of a column? Is the email, right? So you will just select this part and you will execute it. So you can see on the this action output, you can see alter table drop column email. It is succeed, it is showing the green signal, right? So it means this query is correct and it is executed. So let us refresh your schema, and you can see we don't have any email column inside it, right guys? So in the similar way, you can just modify a column, right? You can rename a column or a table, right? So let us move to the concept part and I will show you how to modify a column. So this is a query here, alter table employee, or you can use the modify keyword in order to modify a column. So alter table employee, modify column, the name column name is salary. So what you would like to do, you would like to change the data type of a column, or you would like to do some little bit change in the data type definition of a column salary. So previously your data type was decimal also, but it was taking only 10 numbers. So right now you are changing that from 10 to 12. If you will go to the create table query, you can see it was showing 10,2. So this is a decimal data type. So what it does, it create a column salary with data type decimal, where 10 represents the total number of digits and 2 represents the total number of digits after the decimal point. So let us see how to change or modify the column. So you will simply copy this query and you will come to the SQL Workbench. Here you will select it and you will execute it. So this is executed successfully, and the data type of this salary column is right now change. You can see here, whenever you will select this salary column, here you can see this is the salary column, and definition of it is a decimal 12,2, right? So next you will see how to rename a column or a table. So sometimes in the future you would like to rename a column or a table. So how will you do it? So renaming a column, simple, you will use the rename, right? Rename a keyword. So this query will be used. For example, you would like to rename the last name to the surname. So you will copy this simple query here, right? And you will come here, paste your query. Alter table employee, rename column. You would like to rename the column last name. So here you can see inside your table employees, you have a column last name of a type varchar 255, or you would like to change it to the surname. So just select this query and execute it. It is succeed. You will refresh it and you can see there is no last name. The column is renamed from last name to the surname. So this is your column surname, right? How to rename a table? Sometimes you would like to rename a table. So how will you rename a table? So simply you will use a alter command. Alter table employee, simply you will write rename a table, alter table employee, and you will use a rename. So guys, this is SQL queries are not case sensitive. You can write in the capital letter also or in the small letter. So I will use the rename and uh, rename to staff, right? So what I'm trying to do, I'm just renaming the existing table name employee to staff, right? So this is a query. So I will just select this and execute it and refresh your schema. Here you can see inside jcodebook tables, we have a staff table. We don't have an employee table, right? We don't have any employee table. So this is changed right now, right? So this new table name is the staff. We have just renamed it. Next is how to drop a table, right? So after doing multiple operations, you can drop a table. So to drop a table, simply you will use a drop command. And how to use a drop command? Simply you will use a drop table and you will write the name of a table staff. So simply I will just select it and execute it. You can see inside jcodebook we don't have any table so far. Okay, so guys, these are the DDL queries. Next you will see drop we have done. Next you can see how to use the truncate. So truncate I will show you after some time. Let us move on the next queries, that is data manipulation languages. So data manipulation language is a subset of SQL commands which is used to insert, update, delete and retrieve some data within a database. So how to insert some data inside a database, right? So you will use an insert query, or I will just help you to understand how to create the how to insert some data inside a data table. So let us move to the SQL Workbench. So right now we don't have any database. So I will go here and I will create a table. So I will just create this table using a create table command. You will select it, you will refresh your schema and you can see inside tables we have an employee table that contains the multiple columns like employee ID, first name, last name, birth date, hire date and salary. Okay, so this table is created. Now what I would like to do, I would like to insert some data inside this table. So to insert our data inside this table, you will use this query. So you will use the insert query, insert into your table name employee, or these are the different column names. So please remember these column name must be correct. So first column name is employee ID, next is the first name, then last name, then birth date, hire date and salary. So these column names must be the same as your employee data table. If little bit will be changed, there will be a problem in it, right? So it must be in a sequence. Sequence must be also correct, right? So you have to check the name of the columns first. These are correct or not. And the second thing you have to remember, the sequence must be correct. So let us select this part and run it here. You can see it is succeed. You will refresh it. Now inside this, our data is created. You can see. And how will you check your data is inserted or not? So simply you will go to your employee table, right click on it and select rows. You can see select rows, click on it, and here you can see the query is executing. Select star from jcodebook.employee. This is a query which is executing on the backend, or inside this table you can see your data has been inserted. Employee ID is 1, first name is John, last name is Doy, this is birth date, this is hire date, and this is the salary of a John. So data has been inserted, right? So this is a way how can you insert some data inside the employee table. Sometimes you would like to insert multiple values or multiple data in one go. So how will you insert? You can go to the concept part, or this is a query in order to insert the multiple data in your MySQL database or MySQL data table. So here is a query. Simply you can repeat this multiple times by separating a comma operator. So right now I will select this part and I will execute it. So your data has been saved or inserted. How will you check it? Again, go to your table, employees, right click on it, select rows. Or here you can see your data is inserted. Employee ID 1, 2, 3, and different data is inserted in your data table. So guys, this is a way how to insert some data inside a table. Let us move on the next query, that is update. So after inserting, you would like to update some data. So what is the query to update data? So the update command is used to modify existing records in a table. So how to update a single record? For example, you would like to update the salary of an employee where employee ID is 1. So how will you use this query? You will use a update query, update the name of a table, update employee. You will use a set keyword, and where you would like to set the salary of an employee, you would like to update it. You will write salary is equal 70,000 where employee ID is 1. So I will just copy it and I will help you to understand how to update the data. So if you will go employee ID 1, right? So for employee ID 1, you can see the John salary is 60,000. Let us come to the query. You will select it and you will execute it. You will just refresh your schema, right click on it, select rows. So here you can see the salary of John where employee ID is 1 is updated from 60,000 to 70,000, right? So this is a way how can you update data or a salary where employee ID is 1. If you would like to update the multiple records, so how will you update multiple records? So simply you will use a query update employee set salary is equal this one. Means you would like to update the salary of an existing employee by 10%. You are trying to increase the salary of an employee by 10% where hire date is less than date. Means the employee who is hired or joined the organization before this date, their salary must be increased by 10% or with this ratio 1.10%, right? So I will just copy this part and I will write this query. So you will use update employee set. This is the new salary. Where means the where is used. Where keyword is used to filter the data. Means where you would like to update this. You will just select this part, or you first let us see the data. Who hire date is before this 1/1/21. Here you can see this is the hire date, right? 1/1/21 means the John and Jane who is hired before 1/1/21. So let us see the update will be there or not. Select it and execute it, refresh it, or here you can see it is updated or not. So right click on it, select rows, and here you can see the salary is updated, like the John and Jane salary is updated. Okay, so you can see the previous their salary was 70,000 and 65,000. Now their salary has been updated by 77 and 71,500. And Michael's salary is same because Michael had joined after 1/1/21, right? So this is a way how to update the multiple records, how to delete a single record. In order to delete a single record, you will use a delete query. It is very simple. Delete from employee where employee ID is 1. So this is a way to delete the complete record of an employee whose employee ID is 1. So simply you will write this query, write it, execute it, and you will see what is the data. So here we go, you can see the employee ID 1 is not there, right? Next is you would like to delete the multiple records. So how will you delete multiple records? So here you can use delete from employee where hire date is this one. So this is a way you can perform the operation, delete multiple records. You will select this part and you will just execute it. You can see the employee table, and here you can see only Michael is there because rest John and Jin has joined before 1121, right? This is a way how to delete multiple records. And next and the last is the select query. What is it? This belongs to the data query language, and sometimes this select query came into the data manipulation language categories also, right? So what it does, the select query is used to select some data, or it is used to query some data from your data table. So how to use it? This is a select query. For example, inside the employee table, you would like to know only the first name and the last name of an employee. So you will just use this command. So basic select query means select first name and the last name from employee. You will just select this and execute it. So here you can see the first and last name of a person is Michael, right? If you will have a multiple records inside it, so it will show all the records with first and last name, right? Next is select with where clause, means if you would like to filter some data. So how to do filtration? So you will use the where clause here, right? So for example, you would like to get the first name, last name, and a salary from an employee table where salary is greater than 50,000. So I will just copy it and I will show you the data. So what it does, it is used to filter some data, right? It is used to filter some data. So I can just write after it. So what we are doing here, we are selecting the first and last and salary of an employee where salary is greater than 50,000. If you will see here, the Michael salary is greater than 55,000. So it will just display this data. So right click on it and execute it, and here we go, you can see it is showing the Michael data. And if you will write here, means the salary is less than 50,000. So if you will see the data table here, we don't have any employee whose salary is less than 50,000. So let us run this and let's see what will be the output of it. Let us execute it. And here we go, you can see we don't have any employee. So it is showing the blank data. We don't have any. So sometimes you would like to select all the data. So in that case, you will simply use a select command, select star from your table name, that is employees, right? So you will select it and you can see it is showing the complete data. We have only one records. So if you would like to insert multiple records, you can execute this query, right? For example, I will put this ID is 4. So I will execute this query and insert it. And let me just come down and I will select this query and execute it. You can see it will show the complete details. It will show all the data from the table. So guys, here I have discussed only the few queries, and these queries are very basic queries. So these queries we are executing on MySQL Workbench. Now, in the next session, I will show you how to connect your Java program with your MySQL Workbench or MySQL database, or how will you execute or fire these queries from a Java programming language. So these queries you will write inside your Java programs, and your Java programs will fetch some data from the database, right? So guys, I hope you understand how to little bit work on the MySQL database and Workbench in order to execute multiple queries. So guys, thanks for watching these videos. If you like this video, please click on the like button, subscribe this video, and write your feedback in the comment section. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a great day.